and welcome to a zero waste and low impact video. Today I wanted to share a few of the easiest changes you can do in your life to reduce the amount of plastic you're using, of single-use produce you're using. It will save you some money and just bring more value and quality in your life, and you're just going to stop put your money in your bin, just quite literally. These are very easy changes you can do. Just a side note, zero waste doesn't mean you have to be perfect and have absolutely no waste. Zero waste is initially an industrial term which describes a circular economy versus the linear economy we have right now. It just means you repurpose and find a use for all of your resources in your production chain. It doesn't describe your waste jar at the end of the month or of the year. If you can have one of those, then it's great. But zero waste really is about reducing to the most, like reducing your waste as much as you can do, and it depends on everyone's capacity. You may be on a budget at the moment, you may not have bulk available around you. It just depends on your city, the area you live in. The most important, what you have to keep in mind is do your best. Let's not be harsh on ourselves, because we are trying to do better here. We're trying to be the change we want to see, so let's not tear us down, shall we? I want to tackle two topics in this video. First, kind of bathroomy stuff, very easy to change in your bathroom, and on the go zero waste and low impact. So yeah, first let's start with bathroom. So the first thing I changed, and it's just so easy to do, is use a bar soap instead of shower gels and other plastic packaged soaps. You have many around and it's quite easy to find. You can find them in bulk or wrapped in paper, and paper is still better than plastic, so if it's the only option you have access to, feel free to purchase one of those. So I've been using a big Alep soap, like a big cube of it, for I don't know, 14 months, and it's just so big I don't see the end of this thing, which is great. And in France we have access to loads of soaps. They are just cheap and it saves you money. Second things, toothbrush and toothpaste. Changing to a bamboo toothbrush is really very easy, and you don't see the difference with a normal one. I've never used electrical toothbrushes. I don't see the point in them, and I'm sure if you have a very specific tooth routine you can find many zero waste alternatives. I know that there is eco-friendly floss and other stuff, but I personally just use a toothbrush. When you're finished with it, you just have to take these brushes away because they are not biodegradable, and then you put your bamboo stick in the ground. You bury it basically, or you can find many uses for it. You can put the plant name on it. And for Christmas I asked my family for more bamboo toothbrush, and they were able to find me some great gifts. For toothpaste, this is a handmade local one I could find. It was like, it came in a little stick, and so I cut it and put it in my little box from a previous toothpaste, and it's just the most cutest box, and it's very easy to travel with. And this lasts so long, and I had a full-on stick for just €4, so it doesn't have to be expensive. You can also do it yourself. There are many recipes on the internet. Just be careful not to harm your teeth. Your health always comes first, so if you have to take medications, have an operation, or have just what your health needs you to do, just do it. Zero waste is not the priority on this topic. Let's be serious. Next thing very easy to do is changing your plastic package deodorant for a package-free one. I have a brand new Lush one. I know you have many other internet, and as I said, you can also do it yourself. There are many recipes. I personally choose Tio from Lush. I'm very careful with Lush because I don't love all of their products, but this one is a good one. I purchased one in January last year and I just finished it, and it's January 2019, so it lasted me a full on year and it cost me 12 euros. That it's not the easiest to travel with, but I did it this summer. We went to many different locations and I needed a break. I was careful with it. I wrapped it in a little bit of fabric just to be sure it won't break, and I had a little tin box to put it in that they sell you, but you can use another one. And the only time it broke was when I unpacked. Very silly me put it on my couch that just there, and it slid and smashed on the floor. So that's the only time where it got damaged. But otherwise it's very easy to use. It's just a dry deodorant. You just rub it on your armpit in the morning. No water needed. It's just a dry one. So yeah. Then on reusable stuff, I made those because I am lucky enough to have a sewing machine and a very skilled mama. I didn't want to buy brand new cotton pads, so I went on boot sales last spring and I try and find those baby napkins, you know, this kind of stuff. And you can see that we have already taken the ribbon off, and then we just cut it in little rounds and add another ribbon just on the outside, and there you go. You have really cheap and already produced cotton rounds. They are great and very soft because they are for baby use. And then I have tissues. Tissues are not gross. You just soak them and then wash them in your normal wash. The only special thing you have to do is iron them, which just takes a few seconds, so that you're sure there is no nasty bacteria left on your tissues. It's more gentle for your nose and for your lungs, because in single-use tissues they put bleach and other stuff on it, and often you can do a reaction to your paper tissues and not to those. These are brand new ones, French Etsy shop. They are made from organic cotton and I really like them. I really like them prints. But you don't have to buy a brand new one if you don't want to. You can also use fabrics who's just laying around in your house, and you can make them from old shirts and t-shirts. So yeah, my mum made those from leftover fabric we had, and it's very cheap and it's nice to just build a relationship with your tissues, if this makes any sense, because we are in a society and in a culture where we just use and bin everything, and so it's nice to bring more value and quality in your day-to-day life. And also, if you're very sick and you feel a bit uncomfortable using reusable tissues when you're sick, you can perfectly use single-use tissues, and it's just about finding your balance and doing what you're comfortable with and doing it at your own pace. If you're using fabric tissues half of the time, then you're still cutting your consumption of single-use tissues by half, and that's quite a big number. So yeah, think about that. Now onto on-the-go zero waste things you can do. First of all, and the most famous and the most great, is bring your water bottle, because if you're lucky enough to have access to a drinkable tap water, then make the most of this situation, because it's so cheap and you're paying for it if you are paying your local tax. So yeah, and you have many different options on the internet right now, and so choose a pretty one if you want to, choose a second-hand one if you want to. There's no need to, if you feel comfortable with keeping them, throw away your old plastic Tupperwares. I'm still using mine. A big thing in zero waste is using the things and the objects you already have. You don't have to go and buy all the very expensive and very cute sets which are selling right now. You can perfectly use your old plastic Tupperwares. That's what we do. And when they broke down, buy a second-hand and more sustainable version of them, but don't throw away all of your stuff if you don't need to. Cutlery sets are very cute, but if you don't have the money or don't want to, or just don't want to treat yourself to a nice bamboo cutlery set, you can use just your normal cutlery and bring it with you on your adventures. I choose the thinnest ones, so they are the lighter, but yeah, no trouble with those. Also, I had one of those synthetic plastic made shopping bag, and I didn't throw it away, which I'm very grateful for, because it is so lightweight and it is quite a big one, and it's very handy when I go to the library on a spontaneous trip, or if I buy a lot of books, or if I want to buy some groceries. Yeah, don't throw away all your stuff just because it's old and plastic, and you can find a use for them. If you want to buy any cookies or pastries or bread on the go, I use one of these produce bags and I just shove it in there and I'm good to go. This is my old snack bag from primary school. My mom had made us, but it's very easy to make. And my final on the go tip is to use reusable napkins, because look at them, they are so pretty, and I don't see why we use just single-use paper ones, because these are so much prettier. And if you have an emergency sandwich you want to put in it and you don't have any produce bag, you can use a napkin to do so. I wanted to add a few bits for the kitchen. You don't need those fancy mason jars. You can perfectly reuse gherkin jars and jam jars and olive jars, and I buy a lot of produce in glass jars in my normal supermarket, so I just reuse them. If you're living in an area where you don't have access to bulk, or if it's too expensive where you're living to buy bulk, you can try and find produces in big quantities and in paper bags or in cardboard boxes. For instance, we have access to cardboard couscous, and yeah, it's still better than plastic, so don't feel ashamed and don't feel depressed by the lack of options you currently have, because things are developing and getting bigger and bigger, and so it will probably come in the near future. But before that, you can still make a few changes that are easy and that are not expensive. Don't believe that zero waste is expensive, because it's not. You always have many options to choose from. For example, for straws, you don't have to buy expensive straws. At first I wanted to reuse my plastic straws from my sippy cups. To take advantage of the solutions around you, and please do not believe that zero waste is expensive, because it's not at all the main point of it, and you have many options to choose from. And as a YouTuber, Shelby Bizzle says, you cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs all the good you can do. Goodbye and see you soon!